Yes. Once again, all of you welcome the lecture series of microprocessors and the microcontrollers. Now, today we are also spending some time with the memories. Okay. Then after we can go for the 8255 BPA, maybe the next class. Because this interfacing semiconductor memory interfacing is also very important topic to know how to interface the memories, different types of memories. We have two different types of semiconductor memories. What are the two different types? What are the two different types? So nothing but the static and dynamic, you know that. uh, okay, now today we are going to see the what is static RAM, what is dynamic RAM, how to interface static RAM to the CPU, then how to interface dynamic RAM to the CPU, then how to select the number of address lines to connect the different sizes of that memory devices and all. We will going to see today. You know that in really physical memory is divided into the series. Physical memory is divided into the even and odd, even address as well as odd address. Because the address is starts at 00F to the and the this is the 8086 memory location size, FFF to the. So this is 1 MB memory location size. This 1 MB is divided into the 512 KB odd address, 512 KB, then 512 KB even. So even means here it starts at 000 address, then odd means at 0001. So 0003, 0005 and so on. Even means at 0002, 0004 and so on, like this addresses. So whatever the data that is present in this address is stored in this even address bank, that is 8-bit address. Then another 8-bit address. So nothing but you know that our microprocessor is 16-bit. The 16-bit is divided into the 8 bits. 8-bit, okay, lower, okay, 8-bit higher. This higher order 8-bit you can consider it as a odd, lower order 8-bit is stored it as a even bank, even address bank. This is odd address bank. Okay, this is database. This is the way memory is organized, even address as well as the odd address. But in practically, this whatever it may be 1 MB or 512 KB is not available directly. The maybe the available sizes are 4 KB, okay, 8 KB, multiple power of n. Remember the semiconductor memory devices sizes is also depends upon the 2 power n. 4, 8, 16 KB or 32 KB and so on. On that time, available memory size is maximum 32 KB on that time. It is 64 KB means, what is the meaning of 64 KB? So nothing but 40 nearly a 4096 address locations are available. Address locations are available. 4096 address locations are available nearly in this 4 KB memory device. Okay, likewise 8 KB memory device. Okay, 8000 address locations are available. 16,000 address locations are available. 32,000 address locations are available. In these 32,000 address locations, so you can store each memory location as a 8-bit data. 8-bit data, not 16-bit data. And store the each memory location as a 8-bit data. See this 8-bit data. Okay. Now see this. So today's topic semiconductor memory interfacing. We have two types of semiconductor memories are there, RAM and the ROM. Okay. Again, the RAM can broadly divide into the static as well as dynamic RAM. You know that there are you can see this these are some differences between the static RAM and the dynamic RAM. You can also call it as SRAM. You can also call it as DRAM. This one. So now static RAM is required to store the is like a flip flop. Static RAMs is nothing but a flip flop to store the data. To store the data. Here we can use it as a capacitors to use it to store the data. Here a transistors is nothing but a flip flops. Transistors is nothing but a back-to-back flip flop. We are using flip flops. Okay, a transistor to store the information. So there is no refreshing is required. Refreshing. I will tell you. So what is refreshing and all in the coming topic. Okay. To store the information for a long time, the content of the capacitors need to refresh periodically. Okay. Then SRAM is faster when compared to the DRAM. SRAM is faster when compared to the DRAM because these are the transistor devices. These are the capacitors. Okay. These are expensive. These are cheaper. Okay, SRAMs are low density devices, but these are used as high density devices. These are used in cache memories. These are used in the main memories. See this. These are used in the main memories. These are used in the cache memories. Because for storing 1 byte or 1 code, you require nearly 6 transistors. But here, by storing 1 byte or whatever the information entire for storing 1 byte or 1 code, you require only one capacitor. This will shows the cost. This will shows the cost. Instead of 6 transistors, you are using only one capacitor. Okay, so that's why static RAM is costly when compared to the dynamic RAM. Okay, at the same time, the size of the memory device, static RAM is bigger when compared to the dynamic RAM. For suppose you can take the 2 KB. Static RAM size is very bigger when compared to the dynamic RAM. SRAM, XRAM, physical, I mean appearance of that memory device. But you can see nowadays we can see the 4 GB pen drive and 16 like that, the shape of that one. So this SRAM size is very bigger when compared to the DRAM because we are using more number of transistors to store the energy here because here we are using only a simple one capacitors to store the energy. Okay, so now see this. These are the structure of the static RAM cell. So these are the dynamic RAM cell. Why you are calling it as a cell? Why you are calling it as cell? Question is here. Before going to that one, you can see this. This is one capacitor. So see this 6 capacitor. Sorry, this is one transistor, second transistor, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. See this. You require 6 transistors. 6 transistors. Okay, but here can simply you require one transistor and one capacitor. This is the storage. This is the storage devices. This is the storage device. So simply one capacitor to store the energy. So to store the data. To store the data. One capacitor is sufficient. But here to store the data, 6 transistors are required for each cell. But here to store the data, one capacitor is required to store the data in each cell. What is cell? What is cell? You know that our entire memory is divided into the rows and columns. So rows and columns, rows and column. For suppose you given the address locations for suppose 5 address location. Nothing but fifth row For suppose 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth row are nothing but 3 address location, 33 address location. Third row 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. This is going to third row, then third column. This is this column. So this is one cell. This address location, and this is one cell. This is one cell. Remember, these are the cells. The cell we are going to store the data. The cell we are going to store the data. The cell is connected both rows and columns. The cell is connected both rows and columns. So like see this diagram. So this is the CPU. Okay, so CPU has some address lines. These are the address lines, some address lines. This address lines is connected by this see this carefully. These are some rows and columns, simply rows and column, n rows and n columns. Okay, 2 power n is nothing but that. Okay, each and cell is connected by the, so each and cell is connected by the one memory device. Is like, for suppose I will draw like this, one memory device, then one memory device. Each row and column is connected by one memory device. So rows and columns, rows and columns. Each row and column is connected by one memory device like this. So it is connected by the both row and column. This is a one cell. This is a one cell. I draw just like this symbol to represent this. So this is one cell. One cell. One cell has the structure like this. Okay. One cell has the structure. What is the structure of one cell? One cell has the structure like this. Okay, this is the cell structure. So this is one cell. One cell structure is like this. One cell has 6 transistors. Here one cell has one transistor, one storage capacitor to store the data. But here 6 transistors are required to store the data. That is static, and this is the dynamic. So why we require refreshing means this capacitor has a leakage problem. Leakage problem. So leakage problem means to lose the data. To lose the data. You are not losing the data. So every time for every operation, nearly 2 to 3 milliseconds, will perform one refresh cycle. Refresh cycle. For that purpose, you are requiring some control circuit to refresh. Now we'll see it in later. Okay, in this session, today's session also we're going to see it in the DRAM architecture and all. Okay. Okay. Then RAM interfacing, static RAM interfacing. In the last class, we already see this one. But suppose we are going to introduce 4K into 8 ROM, 4K into 8. 4K nothing but nearly 4,000 4,000 or 4096 address locations. In 1 MB memory, 1 MB memory, 1 MB address locations, 1 MB address locations. But here 4096 address locations, nothing but 1 into 10 to the power of 6 address locations. 1056, nothing but the 1056 address locations here we are taking. But you know that that is the meaning of the okay. That is the meaning of 4K. 4K memory size means 4000 address locations are available. Each address location you will store the 8-bit data. 8-bit data. Each address location you will store the 8-bit data. So 4000, 4K means 4000 address locations. It's not 4K, nothing but 4096. Nearly it is 4096 address locations. To reach the 4000 address locations, how many address lines are connected? 2 power. It is 2 power. Calculate anyone. 2 power. 2 power 12 is nothing but 2 power 12 is sufficient. Can calculate anyone? 2 power 12 is equivalent to the what is the address location? 2 power 12. Yes, 2 power 12 is sufficient. 2 power 12 is nothing but the 2 power 12 is nothing but the 4096. So total address lines are required to connect the 4K memory device. 4K memory device. For suppose it is a 8K memory device or 32K memory device, how many address lines are required for this case? For it is 8K, 8000 yearly and 2 power 13. Yes. So nothing but the 2 power 13. Nothing but 13 address lines are sufficient here. Here for 32 KB, how many address lines are required? 32,000. So 14. No, 14 is also insufficient. 15, yes. 15 address lines are required. 15 address lines are required. Nothing but 2 power 15 is nothing but the 32,768. So nothing but nearly equivalent to the 32 KB because 2 power 13 is equal to the 32,768 address locations. It will indicate the address locations. So 1 MB means 1 MB address locations. Each address location will store the 8-bit data. Okay, so for in the exam, so in this problem they asked that the connect 4 KB memory size of 8 EPROMs and 4 KB memory size of 8 RAMs to 8086 microprocessor. So for connecting 4 KB, okay, for connecting 4 KB memory lines, this memory device, here they are using up to the 2 address lines. Okay, then you can see this structure. Let's see this 1 to 12. 12 address lines they are using. 12 address lines. Address lines. This is nothing but 2 power 12 is equal to 4096K. 4096K. 4096 address locations. 4096 address locations. Address locations. Okay, so 4 KB means here 4000. So 4000 nearly 4000 address locations. So to match this number, we are connected 12 address locations. So 12 address lines. 12 address lines are sufficient to connect the 8 4 KB because these are connected like this. Parallel. These are connected like this. These are connected like this. Okay. So 8 lines. So totally 12 address lines, and so this is chip 1, this is 2, 3, 4, and so on 8 chips. So these toll address lines are sufficient to connect the n number of 4K devices or whatever. So by selecting these chips, here they are considered 8 chips. Here they are in 8 chips are there in this one. Here these are also 8 chips. 8 4K chips are available. Here these are also 8. Here these are also 8. Okay, 8 4K chips will form this one. So nothing but what is the total memory size of this device? What is the total memory size of this device? 32 KB. Total memory size of this device is 32 KB. So this is also 32 KB memory size. 32 KB memory size. 32 KB memory size. Nothing but 32,000 address locations are available. Locations available, and each how much data? 8-bit data. Each address location which can store the 8-bit data. So now see this. This is the microprocessor side. This is the CPU side. We are connected to this decoder circuit only. Yes, decoder circuit. BHE bar bus I enable, then A0 address line, A13 address line to the decoder circuit A0, A1, A2. So here we are connecting A19 to the A15 and A19 to the A14 address lines. So remaining address lines is connected to the A12 to the A11 to the A1 to the A12 here. Okay, so total address lines are here: A1 to 12, A0, A13, 14, 15 to the 19. So total 20 address lines. 20 address lines we are utilizing for this case. For this case, we are utilizing 20 address lines. Out of this 20, only 12 address lines are used to connect memory devices. Connect memory devices. So these are all the memory devices. Then what about the remaining address lines? The remaining address lines are used to the some address lines are used to the some decoder purposes. Series. Some address lines are used for the decoder purpose. So near series. Okay. So remaining address lines are used for the decoder circuit purpose. So this decoder output will tells that which okay it will tells that okay which type of memory you are connected, either RAM or ROM or okay again in this RAM and ROM you have even and odd. Again in this RAM and ROM you have even address as well as the odd, even as well as the odd address. But series ROM is always is nothing but the code segment. Always consider the code segmented memory. Most of the cases ROM is considered the code segmented memory. So nothing but so whatever the microprocessors needed, that codes, nothing but some mnemonic codes, all are stored in this code segment. So that's why you need not to erase that codes. So you are not at all erase that code. That's why you only this ROM is allowed to read the data. Only read the data. But here RAM is used to read the data at the same time write the data. So you just store some information from this from CPU to this RAM, or you can require you want the information from this RAM, you can read that information. Whether the CPU has some data, you need to send that to RAM. You just send by using the write operation. But here ROM has considered only the read operation. Okay, for the so now see this. So which chip are nothing but RAM or ROM? Which chip is going to select is based on this table. So all zeros, even it may be selected even an odd address of RAM. So this is one. So BHE bar is one. It selects the okay BHE bar is one. It selects the even address in the RAM. If A0 is 1, it selects the odd address in the RAM. If A13 is 1, it selects even an odd address as the ROM. It is A13 is 1 and BHE bar is 1. It selects the only even address of the RAM like this. Okay, for the same case, for suppose you can consider the 16K into 8 EPROMs and 32K into 8 RAMs. How many? Okay, how many address lines are required for this case? How many address lines are address locations? Address lines are required simply 2 power something. So 2 power something, you just 2 power n. You can remember this formula 2 power n. So 16K is nothing but 16,000 address locations. 2 power per suppose 2 power 13. You have the 8,000. 2 power 14. You have the 16,000. So 2 power 14 nothing but. See this, how many? Yes, how many lines are required here? 2 power 14 is nothing but the 16,384. So 14 address lines are required in this case. See here in this case, how many address lines are required? 2 power 15 is nothing but 32,000. Yes, 15 address lines are required. So 2 power 15. Nothing but 15 address lines are required. Nothing but address lines. Out of 20 address lines we are used here, 15 address lines. Here out of 20 address lines we are used only 14 address lines to connect the 16K into 8 RAMs. And here 15 address lines are required to connect 32K. Simply 2 power n formula. 2 power n. So whenever you are giving the 2 power n, this n is nothing but the number of address lines. This value, this 2 power n value is equivalent to the memory size. Okay, this 2 power n value is equivalent to the memory size. Okay, now see this for this case, how many you are connected here? A0 to the A13. A0 to A13 nothing but 14 address lines. For EPROM series, for EPROM we are connected 14 address lines. Okay, for RAM purpose we are giving the 15 address lines for the RAM series. So this is RAM, this is RAM, this is row. See these dots. Up to this one is this one is EPROM. Now this is this is RAM. Yes, this is the RAM. See this. These are the lines, address lines. So these are the 14 address lines. These are the 15 address lines. Okay. Okay. Likewise, see the diagram. See the diagram. See the diagram. Okay. See this diagram. See this. Okay. Here for 16K memory, how many address lines are connected here? 14 address lines. 2 power 14. 2 power 14 address lines are connected. Address lines are connected. Nothing 14 address lines are connected. See this A1 to the A14. Here 15 address lines are connected. 15 address lines because this is 32 KB. So 2 power 15 is nothing but the 32,096 or something address lines. See this. See this diagram how they are connected. So so all are equal remaining. So the way they connected is equal. See this. Again in this use instead of this one you should also take the 3:8 decoder. So in this decoder circuit, input is the CPU. Okay, input is the CPU. Okay, so that is BHE bar. Okay, so what is the remaining lines? A0, we are using A0. Okay, A15 to the A19 lines we are using. A16 to the A19 lines we are using. We are using A16 to the A19 lines. We are using. Likewise, you should draw in this diagram way also, like this diagram also. You can draw this like this diagram also. Otherwise, you just take this. We just draw this one. See this row, EP row, even and odd. Again, you should draw any of the static and dynamic RAM. You must represent the even address and as well as odd address memory locations, even and odd address memory locations. But the only difference is here address lines, the connected address lines. Again, see this the difference between RAM and ROM. Here only RAM is allowed, ROM is allowed to the memory read operation, but it is allowed to the read and the write operations. So these are the some NAND gates. NAND gates used to select the chips. To select the chips, we have 4 chips. CS1 is one chip, CS2, then CS3, CS4. Used to select the chips, number of chips. Okay. Again, these are the some A0, B, BHE, C1 and C2. A0 and BHE is chip 1, chip 2 and CS1, CS2. How they can selected the chip 1, chip 2 and all. So CS2, you see this. So CS1 is equal to with C plus C1. See this formulas and all whatever. So now we are coming to the some topic. Another topic is called the dynamic RAM interface. You see this dynamic RAM interfacing. So you know that the difference between the static RAM and the dynamic RAMs. You are already seen this. Okay, this class you are already yes seen the some major differences between the static RAM as well as the dynamic RAM. When compared to the static RAM, dynamic RAM, the storing memory is more when compared to the static RAM, but the cost way, when you see the cost way, static RAM cost is very high when compared to the dynamic RAM, because but for storing one bit of the data, yes, you require one cell, nothing but one cell, it requires one cell. Each cell is required the 6 transistors. But here, each cell in dynamic RAM, each cell in DRAM, each cell it required the only one capacitor to store the data. But here 6 transistors are required. The 6 transistors are required to store the data. But what is the main drawback of this static dynamic RAM? So because of that capacitor, using that capacitor, because of using that capacitor, okay, capacitor, some leakage problem is there. Leakage problem is there. So whenever you want the critical data, whenever your data is very critical, on that time you use this static RAM. Okay, whenever you are using most important data as a critical data, on that time you are using the SRAM memory, static RAM memory devices, because there is no leakage problem, there is no loss of data. But here in DRAM, there is so the data is stored in these capacitors. So that's why there are some leakage problem. So capacitor has the leakage effect. So you need to lose the data, need to lose the data, So that's why for that purpose, so we are not losing the data, and for that purpose, every time for 2 to 3 milliseconds, 2 to 3 milliseconds, you perform one refresh cycle. Refresh cycle. For this refresh cycle, then additional hardware device is required. Hardware device is required to perform this refresh cycle. So the refresh time is nothing but series. Refresh time you can calculate it like this per row as well as once you refresh it, it can be refreshed to the entire rows. As you know that Memory is in rows and columns. Yes, this is the cell. When you refresh one cell, so nothing but one row, it can refresh the entire rows that are connected in that DRAM. Okay, this is the refresh time TR. So 2 into 10 power minus 3 by 64. So this is the refresh frequency that you can calculate it. FR is equal to 64. Simply 1 by T. Simply 64 by 2 into 10 power of minus 3 is equal to 32 into 10 power 3 Hz. Refresh frequency. This is the refresh time. Refresh time is TR is equal to into 10 power minus 3 by 64. So this is the dynamic RAM refresh logic. Refresh logic. So, I will show the yes, dynamic RAM controller. Yes, this is the dynamic RAM controller. As I said, you require some hardware devices to refresh them. Yes, yes, this is the dynamic RAM controller to refresh the entire DRAM without losing the data. See this, the rows 0 to the 1 rows, the column matrices. Okay, here the outputs. Okay, read and write. This is the some controller circuit. This is the address lines. This is the address lines. A0 to the A0 to the A7 address lines. Nothing but 8 address lines, 8-bit address lines. So this is 1-bit dynamic RAM is like this. One cell dynamic RAM is like this. Dynamic RAM is like this. 1-bit dynamic RAM is like this. The structure, the structure. The structure is like this. The inputs, the pins. So 8 pins, 8 address lines is connected. Okay. So row address, column address, right. Okay. This is the power supply. So data in, data out. Data in, data out. So this number is 2164. The number is 2164. So one cell dynamic RAM. One bit dynamic RAM, 1 bit or 1-bit dynamic RAM, 1-bit dynamic RAM. So nothing but so 8 address lines we are using the 8 address lines 2 power 8, 2 power 8. So 2 power 8 is nothing but what is the memory size of this one? So 256, 256. Either 256 is the near memory size of 266 bytes. Is the memory size of this 1-bit dynamic RAM. So see this. You are connected the dynamic RAM structure is like this. So by refreshing this dynamic RAM, so you require this hardware device, again some device. Okay, the refresh time is nothing but this is the refresh time. TR is equal to 10 power minus 3 by 64. Then refresh frequency is nothing but the 64 by 2 into 10 power minus 3. Okay. So now see this. This is the dynamic RAM refresh logic, simple like refresh logic. So this these are, you can see the 16K into 1-bit dynamic RAM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 are connected at the but 16K into 8 8 we are connected here. Again this one is also in this case 16K into 8 are connected. 16K into 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 are connected. So for refreshing this, you know that for each and every bit of the dynamic RAM is refreshed for each and every operation are 2 to 3 seconds without losing the data that is stored in the capacitor. So for that purpose, you require the some additional control circuit here. These are the additional control circuit to refresh that one. So this is the these are the logic to refresh that. logical circuit to refresh that one. So for each and every, see this, for each and every DRAM, each and every DRAM is connected to the series, connected to this CE1, CE2 logic. So see this CE1 and as well as the CE2. Again, these are common. Address lines are common. These are address lines. Address lines. These are the address lines are common. For each and every is connected to the series address decoding logic CE1 as well as the CE2. Then OE output enable OE is connected to this refresh timer. See this refresh timer. This refresh timer and all is connected to this some part. Some part is already we draw in this one. Some part this part reference add this logic and all is available in this. Okay. As outputs to then clock symbol and then clock. This clock is so you know that power 12 volts. Okay, there's read and write system acknowledgement transfer. So write and ever read then CAS. Okay, column address selection, then row address selection. Okay. So this is the now series a simple diagram of interfacing 512 KB dynamic RAM to the 8086 microprocessor. This is the diagram. This is the diagram. This is the diagram. So this 512 KB RAM. So this is the CPU. So in the problem they asked that only 512 KB is connected. Again, this 512 KB is divided into the 256 KB and 256 KB. So even 256 KB, even 256 KB are yes. This two, yes, whatever it may be, this 512 KB dynamic RAM are this two only. So this two even and odd. To working this 256 KB and as well as this, okay, you require this lot of this is our CPU. This is our CPU. We require this circuits. So what are that circuit? Whenever you are connected to the general bus operation, you are already studied. You are connected to the memory device. You require the latches. I hope you remember the diagram: latches and timers. Okay, and trans receivers. Okay, for latches are used to. So why we are using latches? So our address lines are bidirectional. So our AD lines, address and data lines are bidirectional. Okay, AD0 to the AD. Uh, so AD15 lines are okay. These are bidirectional lines at the same time multiplex lines. Multiplex means the same lines were used for both address as well as the data. To separate that one, you require the some latches. Latches is nothing but the some D flip flops. D flip flops. I think you are already discussed this one. Yes, see this. These are the latches. So to why you are required the trans receivers? Trans receivers are also the some hardware devices to find the so data enable so do you know the data enable so whether you send the data receive data is correct or not and so that is known by this trans receivers. So what is this one, see this is the some chip selection logic here. This is we are using the chip selection logics CS logics we are using. So these are the remaining circuits. So this is the clock generator. It is comes under the CPU. We can you are not confuse that one. This is the clock circuit comes under this CPU. Okay. Once you remember so general bus operation and that one we already our memory segmentation and all. We already seen these latches and timers and diagrams. Why you are using this latches and transistors and this diagrams? Okay. Okay. This is the interface and circuit of 512 kV dynamic RAM to the 8086 microcontrollers. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the 8255 PPI and all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining the today's class.